I watched it, and now that you mention it, I do remember that was part of it. But I don't think outside of a John Carpenter movie, I don't believe I've ever heard anybody talk about it at length. But maybe if there's one person we could turn to on that, would be, as I understand it, west of the Rockies. JC is in Arizona, and he may have.
How dare you, Ian? How dare you? Yes, I can tell you about inverse exorcisms. It's called rock and roll music. And when you listen to the rock music, you're inviting the devil into your soul and he possesses you. But that's not what I want to talk about. First, I have a couple of issues. Yes, I want to talk about your woman. The woman that's answering your phone. She gave me a hell of a time trying to get through, sir. Now, and I can like it. I have a few points to bring up. One about the Red Olympics, but first, I can identify with this Seaworld story. You're talking about training an animal to do your bidding and having it go wild, like the serial killer whale. Listen, like I trained Edna, like I had her doing my bidding and doing my work, and then she turned on me.
Did she? Was it because she got a little devil in her, or she wasn't getting a little devil in her enough, if you know what I mean, JC?
Oh, dear Lord, and I've been reeling ever since. The thing is, I think all hope is lost for you after last week's food pornography show where you had the guy talking about eating the private parts of bulls and snakes and demons. That was so disgusting. I threw up for a week. I was vomiting nonstop after listening to that food pornographer.
Oh, I wish you'd called. I would have enjoyed hearing that.
I tried to get through. Listen, the food lustation is so apparent on the television. If you look at any of these TV programs, like there's one for McDonald's commercial, and the two girls are talking, and then they say, how about if we kiss each other while we eat the hamburger? And it's so disgusting. But that's not what I wanted to talk about so much as that I am disgusted still from the food pornographer that you had on last week.
It was so disgusting. How many times did you watch it?
Well, I had to review it several times to get the secret messages, and then I ran it backwards and never seen the rest. Now, look, you're trying to distract me from talking about the Red Olympics. Okay?
Are the Red Olympics that's going on in Vancouver, the Red Olympics that we, USA, that we are dominating right now in Vancouver?
It's shameful. We lost to Canada, but listen, the reason people watch, I want to talk about the salacious nature of the international peep show that is the Olympics. I'll tell you why people watch the Olympics. It's all salacious when they talk. Listen, you ever watch the ice dancers and the girls have the little short skirts, and people with dirty minds are watching it having lustful thoughts.
Oh, really? What were you thinking? What were you thinking, JC, as you were watching them?
I was thinking how disgusting this would be if someone who had a salacious mind were to watch this, and it's just an international peep show for people to sit there and watch it, and it's so disgusting. It's the world coming together in some sort of communistic order to worship each other or worship Canada, and it's I can't tell you how horrible it is to sit here and have to be subjected to that.
Let me ask you a question about that, because I was sort of curious. Then if it's salacious, then do you feel better or worse when the ice dancers are brother and sister?
Oh, dear Lord, I don't even want to go there. And the thing about that is it's disgusting in general. And what I don't like about it is the very fact that we're watching people. The thing is, why are we, this is what I don't understand, is, I don't like Muslims and Muslimism, but they have a good idea with covering the women up. That's one thing they get right. I don't understand it. And we have Toyota building kamikaze cars. They calculated this attack to have these cars. This is something that they cooked up in the 40s, and they waited all this time to get revenge on America by making cars that are going kamikaze and killing people.
Okay. Well, and I don't want you to start throwing up for a week, but let me ask you, what do you think we ought to do? Do you think we ought to pull out of the Olympics?
Oh, absolutely. What I think we ought to do is we ought to pull out of the Olympics and send in some F-16 stealth fighters to drop a few reminders on why America is the supreme power in the world. And to just top it all off, you had that disgustator who wrote Star Trek on tonight. And another thing about
what was disgusting about him? What was disgusting about Nicholas Meyer?
Because he wrote the communist propaganda film showing how we couldn't win a nuclear war. Listen, we can win a nuclear war. We should have beat the Soviets with an atomic war. Oh, I was promised an atomic war, and I wanted an atomic war. We could have cleaned their clocks, and so what? A few cities get nuked. Big deal. Suck it up, you wimps. That's what I have to say about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I wasn't done making my point about the Olympics and how cruel they are. Listen, that poor fellow, look, I don't like the Olympics, but he died. They don't have to call him a loser, do they?
Well, I don't think anybody's called him a loser because he died. Right? Are you talking about the guy that was on the luge?
They called him a loser, yes.
Oh, no, a loser, not loser. See, I understand how you might be used to hearing that word, loser. No, he's a loser. Okay.
I can't get into the nuances of the French communist language.
I understand, but that's where they're just calling him a loser. That's different. But JC, I
guess he's not going to get a medal.
No, he wasn't going to get a medal. But JC, you are always a gold medal contender in my mind for the best caller on Coast to Coast.
There's hope for you yet, Ian. If you just stop doing the bidding of the devil, and I tell you what, next time you have the food pornographer on, I want a shot at him.
Okay, you know what? I could probably see if I can get you to get on the show with him. I might talk to Andrew and see if he'd be willing to have you on as a guest on Bizarre Foods.
I'd absolutely go on his program, and I would tell him exactly why. What he needs to try is some of the Lord's food.
Some of the Lord's food. Okay.
That's right.
Well, I'll tell him that, and thank you, JC. You had one more thing.
I don't have to take this kind of abuse.
Okay. Well, I hadn't gotten around to any abuse. I was saying thank you. But if that, I understand that maybe qualifying as abuse with you these days. Thank you always for calling. Let's get to Allie, who's in Seattle on Coast to Coast. Allie?
Hi, Ian. Boy, what a tough call to follow.
Yeah, he's always fun. Go ahead.